Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Now that my two obligatory informative videos are done for the day, including a whole workout with Brittany and I, which you guys can go check out below, it's time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. So let me put on my +5 out of weaponsmithing. Work on skilling up my crafting a little bit. Let's talk about Mike Rashid again. It's been a few weeks since I've talked about Mike Rashid after all his scandals with the WFN drug bust. All the obvious lies he was caught in with it. He's now going full snake oil salesman. He's cashing in on the ketogenic industry, selling a product called Ritual. Now, what I want to do here, I'm going to hammer on this a lot more because a bunch of YouTubers and people in the industry are trying to market the ketogenic diet now. As if the ketogenic diet isn't already completely well understood and all the literature and all the experts haven't discussed it already. The health risks of it are known. Doctors tell you don't do it without being under the prescription of a doctor, all that. For those who don't know what it is, there should never be a need to market a single product for a diet like this, because the diet consists of eating mostly fats, moderate protein, and almost zero carbs. That's what a ketogenic diet is. Forces your body into a state of ketosis. Now, in other words, what do you eat on this sort of diet? Fatty cuts of meat, eggs, and green vegetables. You drink water. Maybe drink black coffee too. All right, that's it. That's your diet. Fatty meat, that means hamburger meat, steaks, pork chops, bacon, turkey legs, turkey thighs, chicken thighs. Fattier cuts of meat, the stuff that's not lean. Eggs, maybe dump a little heavy cream on stuff, a little extra butter every now and then. Green vegetables like broccoli and spinach, and you drink water or black coffee or unsweetened tea. That's what you do on a ketogenic diet. There's nothing to market. You don't need products for this. In fact, products usually mess the diet up, because how does the diet work? People say, oh, it lowers circulating insulin. Oh, it creates a metabolic advantage. No expert in the world, expert I mean medical doctor or registered dietitian, they don't agree with that. They all know it doesn't work that way. This diet, like everything else, works 100% on calories in, calories out. And it actually has a slight metabolic disadvantage. The diet works by, number one, producing ketone bodies as an alternative fuel source. It's kind of partially digested, partially broken down fats for people who don't really know what that is. Best way to describe it. Ketones can blunt your appetite a little bit because they create a mild sense of nausea. It's not like, oh, you're going to get really sick. It's just a very, very mild, very faint nausea, okay? That's what ketones do. It can suppress appetite a bit. The other way that it suppresses appetite is by lack of food variety. And in fact, selling you products is the worst thing anyone can do. Why do they want to give you a bunch of stuff that tastes good? That adds extra calories and extra food to your diet. The entire system through which the ketogenic diet works is appetite suppression, so you eat less calories. Keep in mind, people lose less fat on this diet when they're put in the metabolic ward and everything's controlled. Calorie per calorie, on the same amount of calories, you will lose slightly less fat on this diet than other types of diets. The last thing you want to do is increase your food intake. It works by causing you to eat less. And the other method it does that through is by making you bored of your food. All right, steak sounds great. Bacon sounds great. Eggs sound great, don't they? 3, 4, 5 meals a day, 7 days a week, 12 months a year. They sound great then. What happens, people actually over the months, if they follow this diet properly and they just eat ketogenic foods, just meat, eggs, vegetables, okay? If that's all they eat, they don't touch anything else. They don't touch a damn protein shake or anything else that could disrupt things and mess with their appetite. They just eat these things. What happens? They start getting more and more bored with their food. Their calories actually go down. A lot of times someone who might start on 3,200 calories on a ketogenic diet might be down to 2,400, 2,200, 2,000 3 or 4 months in if they stay strict on the diet, because their appetite just gets lower. They get more bored with their food and they just eat less of it. They're more likely to just push that portion away. They don't eat the last bite or two of bacon. They don't eat the last half an egg. They leave the last few bites of the steak or the hamburger patty. They start pushing it away because they get bored of it. They just don't overeat. That's how the diet works. That is 100% how it works. Every expert in the world who understands it agrees on that. Only scam artists and gurus and bullshit artists say anything different about it, okay? That's the first thing you know someone is scamming you if they say anything different. So what does Mike do? He's got a product to help you with ketosis. Now, I think it's interesting that this guy talks about this as part of his brain fuel stack, his alpha brain stack. This stupid, ignorant individual in another video said that all the food that you digest goes through your liver. All right, this is not someone who should be talking about developing an alpha brain. He needs to do this for himself and prove that it works and actually say some intelligent, educated things in some of his videos, regularly, before he starts talking about how a product is going to make you more intelligent. Now, ketosis is not known in the scientific or dietetics community for making people more intelligent or sharper. That's a myth. Actually, it can cause brain fog. It can cause people to think a little slower. Ketones are not the preferred fuel source for your brain, and they never are. In other words, you can, on a ketogenic diet, teach your brain to burn up to 50% of its calories from ketones. It's a little sluggish till it gets used to it. It runs better on glucose. And even when someone is fully keto adapted, their brain still burns 50% of its fuel from glucose. So if you don't get some blood sugar to it somehow, your brain stops working and you die. Or you go unconscious at least. Something to remember, all high intensity exercise is filled by glucose also. So here's the deal. He's saying, well, we put these exogenous ketones in so that maybe you don't have to drop your carbs so low to get ketones. Well, doesn't that defeat the purpose of the diet? What do you mean? You're not supposed to be eating carbs. For a ketogenic diet to work correctly, it's supposed to suppress your appetite, no food variety. You don't need to be adding food variety back in. You're going to eat more calories. That's the whole point. Now, the only benefit to adding these extra ketones would be, well, maybe they would suppress your appetite, but your appetite should already be suppressed by the ketones that are there from following the normal diet. These exogenous ketones is one of the biggest scams in these ketogenic diets ever, and every dietitian rolls their eyes at this crap. You're just adding calories back in, but you're also burning fast-absorbing calories that cannot be used to fuel intense weightlifting activity, and are also a terrible fuel source for your brain. So you're giving your body a fuel source that it can only use for lower intensity activity. Not weightlifting, not sprinting. You could burn it as less cardio, low intensity cardio. So this is not a high octane fuel source. He's kind of describing it that way. It's not a high octane fuel source. Ketones cannot be used to help you lift weights. It is not a viable fuel source for anaerobic activity. All right, you don't burn any ketones while you're lifting weights as part of the process. You burn sugar, glucose, carbs. Now, he's saying by putting this in there, you won't need as much to get the ketones in your system, but the whole point is you're using the ketones in as a fuel source. You're going to put ketones in, so you're going to use less ketones from your body fat. This is stupid shit. Furthermore, why does your body create the ketones? Well, number one, to have a fuel source, but you could do that with normal fatty acids. Why does the body create ketones when blood sugar drops too low? So that it can get sugar from the long-chain fatty acids. The triglycerides have a glycerol backing. It can cleave that glycerol backing off and make tiny trace amounts of blood sugar. Then you have all these ketones free as a byproduct, which are just fats that your body can burn as fuel source. In place, some muscles, some muscle fibers, heart, things like that, can burn the ketones or fat as a fuel source. But it's a byproduct because your body is trying to find an alternative method to, one, fuel these things, but number two, it's the byproduct that develops because it needs that glycerol backing to try to squeeze and create a tiny drop of blood sugar. Why? So that your brain doesn't die. It also creates blood sugar from the protein that you eat. Now, he's got all this in here, then he throws in, it's got MCT oil in it. Talking about, because of coconut oil and certain peoples have eaten it around the world. Coconut is still disputed as to whether it's healthy or not by registered dietitians. MCT oil is still disputed as to whether it's a healthy or an unhealthy fat by dietitians. The research isn't conclusive. But what is conclusive, MCT oils, while they're popular on ketogenic diets, all the experts who work with patients who are put on ketogenic diets for clinical reasons say that MCT-based ketogenic diets are an absolute failure and they do not give the medical benefits. In other words, I've read reports from childhood epilepsy research doctors who prescribe ketogenic diets to children who have epilepsy because it works. It cuts their seizure rates in half. The ones who are given MCT oil as part of the ketogenic diet, it doesn't do the effect. It doesn't give them the benefits of the ketogenic diet. It doesn't reduce their seizures. It's completely useless. The diet is made useless for the medical purposes it's used for, like epilepsy. That's the biggest one. When MCT oil is added in, the diet stops working. The medical treatment that it's used for stops working when you add MCT oil in. So why in the hell would you do that? Why would you do that if you're on a ketogenic diet? If people are trying to do it for whatever reason, when we know that it ruins the diet for medical purposes, for epilepsy, one of the biggest reasons we even know anything about it. We have so much research on the ketogenic diet because of childhood epilepsy studies. MCT oil makes the diet useless for treating that medical condition. You really sure you want to add it to your ketogenic diet? Then he says he's got a product in there that doubles the effect of dietary protein on your muscle tissue. Mike, anabolic steroids don't do that. And you've taken plenty of those. We saw all your WFN orders. We know you were financially affiliated with the company. You told us all multiple times and pimped the company and everything else. We know you're heavily involved in the gear world. It was all self-admitted. So don't pretend like that's not what you use for muscle protein synthesis. Not like you can back out of it and lie about it now. Well, you can, but seriously, you're going to say you have a product that doubles muscle protein synthesis from your dietary protein. Are you serious? What sort of clown-ass con artistry is this? You know what? I'm sorry, but him even being allowed to make statements like that about a product, where's the FDA? Where's the FDA? Why aren't they cracking down on this clown for claiming he's got a product that does bullshit like that it can't possibly do? That isn't backed, isn't proven by multiple peer-reviewed studies, that the FDA wouldn't back. That's not legal for you to claim. You can't make claims like a product will help you gain muscle mass directly without the FDA's backing. That's illegal, Mike. You're about to find yourself into more legal trouble than the WFN stuff because the FDA don't play. And they have cracked down on a whole hell of a lot of supplement companies, and I'm talking millions of dollars of fines. So making bullshit-ass claims like that is actually illegal. You can't do that. You can't claim that a supplement directly helps build muscle as someone financially associated with that product. It's illegal. Just so you know. And it's illegal for good reason, because they don't. Supplements do not help you build muscle. The FDA doesn't endorse the fact that they do, because they're not proven to do so as a general rule. You can't go making claims like that. It's a lie. It's bullshit. It's scamming people, and it makes you a piece of shit con artist liar, Mike. That's what you are. Alright guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.